Welcome back everybody, and welcome back to another pickups video. We've got Gamecube, we've got Xbox, and we've got Saturn, and we've also got a PS2 item as well. So without further ado, I think we'll do the Gamecube first. I think two Japanese titles. First one, this is one I've had on PAL and got rid of recently, so I wanted to buy on Japanese instead, and so we've picked up, in this case, Made in Wario. PAL one's, what is it, WarioWare, isn't it? So obviously you've probably played this, just a micro game, compilation, party game I suppose really. But I do like the Japanese cover, just a bit nicer in the pink I think than the yellow, but each to their own. It is in nice condition, complete. As I've said before, these Japanese Gamecube boxes are just some of the best ever for me. Just love them. This, you know, these are just like crazy, like 5-second games. You know, a bit of a TikTok game, I suppose, really, for the TikTok generation. I've never been crazy about it myself, but it's alright for what it is, I suppose. But it's very cheap on Japanese. I sold the PAL one for much more than the Japanese one cost. This next one, I'd had no experience of at the time it came out, and to be honest, I think I'd overlooked it a few times. But then it was Daz who mentioned this to me in the comments of one of my Gamecube videos, and I thought I'd look into it when Daz said it was quite good. So, cheers Daz. So I've picked up PN03. I've only briefly played it so far, but it does look quite interesting actually. Very kind of unusual 3D action type game. Looking forward to trying this more. It has got quite a unique looking style to it. I have read the controls are a bit weird. I've only played it for about 5 or 10 minutes so far, and it seemed pretty good to me. So, anybody got any thoughts on PN03? Because I do like the look of it so far. You'll see in some footage hopefully, but it's in really nice condition as well, this one. It's got the warranty card, as you can see, and the case and manual. And even the cardboard sleeve on this one's in lovely condition. The edges aren't damaged at all. Can't remember how much it wasn't a fortune. It was quite reasonable, as I remember. No idea of the PAL value, whether it's an expensive or a cheap one, I don't know. But yeah, let me know any thoughts on PN03. I might have tried it again by the time this goes out, I don't know. But anyway, that was the two Gamecube editions that I got recently. As I say, I'm quite behind with the pickups. Just been so busy, and it's been too hot to be in here. So there might be another pickups video next week as well. Like I said last week, I've probably got 3 or 4 that I need to get through. But that's all the Gamecube I've picked up for now, after me going through my collection in the videos a few weeks ago. Nothing else on the horizon Gamecube wise at the moment. So there is a couple on the back burner, which, you know, I will add if one comes up at the right price. So I think we'll do the PS2 item next. And as you might well be aware, if you've been watching for a while. I do like my arcade sticks, and I'd got one for the PS2, but it was just a fairly generic third party. It was actually a multi-stick what you could use on the Xbox as well. Wasn't particularly good. So I've been looking at something a bit better, and then I stumbled across this, and I'd never seen one before, to be honest. And it's a Thrustmaster, as you can see, 2002 FIFA World Cup arcade stick. Never seen one before. But the good thing is, it's fully micro switched. And I've never had anything Thrustmaster before, I don't think. But anyway, it comes in the box. Unfortunately, the lid is separate from the box. But not disastrous. I can glue that back together. So it was really nice it came in the box. But when it turned up, I was really surprised. It's a fairly weighty stick. It does look a bit plasticky on the outside, and it's a plastic base, but there must be metal inside because it's quite weighty. But I quite like the unique nature of the design, how it looks like a football pitch. As you can, I don't know if you pick up there. It's quite a nice stick. And it was, I forget exactly how much, it was under 20 quid, it was really cheap. So yeah, anyone seen that before? I was quite pleased with that as it turned out. I wasn't expecting a great deal, to be honest. But it was better than I expected, and certainly better than the one I'd got before. I'm sure there are better ones available, and I will keep looking. If the right one crops up, I might get another one. On that point, if anybody's got any tips for a decent PS2 arcade stick, let me know in the comments, please. Although that's not bad, if I can get a better one, I wouldn't mind looking into that. Right. Next up, we've got Xbox, and these were all picked up. Was it last week or the week before? I think it was a couple of weeks ago, from Hidden Chest. Great shop, Hidden Chest. There's the details if you want to check it out yourself. Give Dana a call. He's got brilliantly well stocked shop, full of games, toys, retro items, figures, board games, 8-bit micro stuff, anything, you name it. PS1 to PS4 he's got, all Xbox stuff, all like NES, Master System, Mega Drive, you name it, he's got it. Great shop, so please check him out. Hidden Chest Gaming. So, what did I get from there? Well, I got 3 Xbox titles, as I say. First one I picked up was Carve. Now I'd actually got this, but mine was in quite poor condition, so it was an upgrade. And it was really cheap. I think it was £1. It might have even been 50p. It was cheap anyway. Nice and complete. Now I do like my jet ski games. Nothing compares to Wave Race on the 64. Even the Gamecube version is inferior to the 64 version for me. There's no finer water mechanics than Wave Race on the Nintendo 64. But anyway, that said, this is a decent game. And if you like that kind of thing, you can't go wrong with this for the money. For a couple of quid, it's probably a bit more on eBay, I'd imagine. But not the greatest game in the world, but it's decent and well worth the money it goes for. That's Carve. Then next up, we've got, well, it's another race, but I've never seen this before, to be honest. and we've got RPM tuning. I can't remember. I know the Griffmaster has been picking loads of Xbox up. I can't remember if he showed this. He might have done. But anyway, again, this was quite cheap in Hidden Chest, and it's all right. Again, it's nothing brilliant. Just your average kind of street racing, sort of arcade style racer, really. It's kind, I suppose it's a bit max power for those who understand what max power is of a certain age. But it's all right. It's not bad for the money. Maybe, I don't know. It's probably a 6 or a 7 out of 10, maybe. Okay. Then the last of the trio I bought from Dana. We've got a classic Metal Slug 4. Now the Metal Slug games they're all great, aren't they? All the ones I've played have been great. I've not got this version. I've got number 3 on the Xbox. So it was great to find this. It's in really nice condition, and I've had a couple of goes and it's very, very good. I'm not sure it's as good as the previous ones, or the first 2. But you know, I'm picking flies, they're all great. But you know, you'll see from the footage, you know, Metal Slug's Metal Slug in it. Lots of people have sort of copied the style. It's just a great arcade running gun. Metal Slug 4. Just chuffed to get that one. Right, we've got all Saturn now. So, what have we got this week, you might ask? Well, the first one, I do remember playing this back in the day, but it's one I'd completely forgotten about until Champion 2D Rob showed it probably a couple of months ago now, when he picked it up, and it kind of jogged my memory that it existed. And I'm talking about Blazing Tornado. Now, this is a wrestling game essentially, and I'm not something I'd normally buy because I'm in no way, shape or form into wrestling. I've never liked it. Each to their own. If you love it, brilliant. It's not for me. But this is more of an arcade. Well, it's very arcadey, and it feels almost more like a fighting game than a wrestling game to play to me. So that's kind of the reason I wanted to get it. Otherwise, if it had been a wrestling game, I wouldn't have bothered. Well, if it had felt like a wrestling game, I wouldn't have bothered. But it is very arcade. As you'll see from the footage, it looks quite nice. Still think it looks a decent game. And it's reasonably priced, this one. It's less than 20 quid, as I remember. I'm sure it's Japanese only. It's certainly no PAL version anyway, as far as I'm aware. I don't know if there's a sequel to this. Anyway, there might be. I can't remember. Is it Fire Pro Wrestling? Or is it Fire Pro Wrestling? I can't remember. Anyway, that's Blazing Tornado. Then, in a similar vein, this is one I remembered from way back when, but again I'd completely forgot about it until I happened to see a listing on eBay. And we've got Funky Head Boxers. Now straight away, the title sounds interesting and cool, and this is most definitely only available in Japan because it's really Japanese. It's got super deformed head characters. You'll see the footage better than the screenshots, but yeah, that it's a boxing game. Again, very arcadey, but all the characters have got massive square heads, and it's really unique, really wacky. You know, bang up my street really. Easy to play. Have a quick blast on it. Job's a good one. And it's not in bad condition. It's not super common, this one. But again, it's not an expensive game or anything. You just might not find that many of them for sale. But if you want to play it, I'm 99% sure it's Japanese only. Because you can't imagine this game ever being converted for the West, really. But it's an excellent little boxing game. I'm really chuffed to have this one in the collection. Like I say, I did play it very, very briefly back in the day. And then just that vague memory in the back of my head reminded me it was quite good when I saw it, the listing on eBay. And I was chuffed to jump on that. That's Funky Head Boxers. Then next up, this one I'd never had before, and we've all played a version of this. You know, it's on every conceivable thing known to man. I've picked up Bomberman Fight. Now, this, unlike a normal Bomberman game, it's kind of from an isometric 3D viewpoint, much like the kind of viewpoint of like Mega Drive FIFA. Unfortunately, I don't think it works very well because it's quite difficult to judge where you're walking and dropping the bombs. It looks really nice, and you know, in theory it should have been a winner, but unfortunately it just don't play like the original. You know, simplicity is best in some cases, and where Bomberman's concerned, I think simplicity is the way forward, and you don't need to change a winning formula. So it was a bit disappointing, to be honest, that one. It looks a lot better than it plays. Again, I'm pretty sure this is Japanese only. Possibly because perhaps it didn't go down that well in Japan, I don't know. But let me know, has anyone played Bomberman Fight? And what do you think? Did you think it was a bit iffy to control? It's a shame, really. Right, we've got 3 to go. And next up, we've got, this is a bit, it's in the Sega touring car class, this game for me, in that I was real, you know, keen to get it back in the day. I couldn't wait to play it when it came out, and it was one of them games that you put in the machine and it was just a massive letdown. It just wasn't what you hoped it might be. And you know, I had it back in the day and, you know, got rid of it pretty quickly because it was a bit shit, to be honest. And I've never touched it since. But being on this Saturn kick, it was one I was quite keen to retry again. And again, much like Touring Car, when I reacquired that, the results are quite similar here. I won't keep you in suspense any longer. We're talking about Sonic R. Now, obviously it's a Sonic racing game, and it looks quite decent, to be fair. See a few screenshots there and I'll have a look at the footage. I don't know if they did this when they couldn't work out how to get Sonic working in 3D, I don't know, but I mean, it does look alright, but it's just way too twitchy to control for me. Even with the analog stick, I don't think it works particularly well. I think with the benefit of hindsight, and without having that sort of anticipation for it being, you know, excited about this new game coming out 25 years on, I think more of it now than I did when it was new, purely because the expectation level was lower, I think. I am going to try it a bit more and try and persevere with the analog stick. I don't know if it works. I presume it would with the steering wheel. I haven't tried that. Seems a bit wrong controlling a Sonic racing game with the steering wheel. But I really want to, it's just like touring car. I really want to like this, but it's just let down by shoddy controls for me. But what do you think? Ironically, this is, I don't know about a PAL version, because you can get this PAL obviously. But ironically, the Japanese version of this is quite expensive. I stumbled across this really fortunately for a real great price, I've got to say. It was up for buy it now, and I must have bought it within minutes of it going up because it was a stupidly cheap price. And I thought he'd listed it wrong, to be honest, and I was surprised when he sent it. I thought he'd realise what he'd done and say, you know, give me some excuse why he wasn't going to send it. But fair play to the guy, he sent it, you know, so I'm absolutely chuffed to have it. So, you know, I'm way underpaid for this. And it's in lovely condition as well, to be fair. Because like I say, it's probably a 50 to 60 quid game, Japanese. So I'd almost bought a repro of this a few weeks earlier. But, you know, sort of fortune favours the brave, and I've landed on this for a dirt cheap price, not much more than a repro, to be fair. So, what are your thoughts on Sonic R? I'd be keen to know, you know, any of you who've played it, even back in the day, what did you think, and have you played it again since? You know, are you of a similar opinion to me? Right, 2 to go. Now, with this next one, this was another fortunate find in the fact that this is a really expensive game, generally speaking. This tends to be around the 70-80 quid mark, and it's Japanese exclusive, I believe. There's certainly no PAL version. I don't know if there's an NTSC, but there's certainly no PAL. And I picked up Griffin 2. Obviously the first one came out PAL, and I've already got the first one on Japanese. But this one is obviously the sequel, and it never came out to Japan as far as I'm aware. And it's more of the same. It's like a 3D mech fighter. But this one, like I say, is really expensive, Japanese. And again, I've dropped lucky with this one on a buy it now. Somebody listed it. Or was it a buy it now? No, I won this one on auction actually. But it was way underpriced. It's not mint, unfortunately, but it's perfectly decent condition. It's just not spectacularly good. But this one works. Well, I think it's this one. Right, I think I'm right in saying this one works with the twin stick controller, like the virtual on sticks, which, you know, that's high up on my list of wants. I'm really looking to get one of them. So I have played it, and it does seem quite good, but I'm sure it would be better with the sticks. But again, I'm chuffed to have it. I like the first one, and this looks like an enhanced, better version, really. So I'm chuffed to get it, basically. For the price I did, it was an absolute bargain. Anybody played Griffin 2? I don't think the first one gets very good reviews, to be honest, but I quite like it. You know, the slow and ploddy gameplay suits me down to the ground on this kind of thing. I like that. But anyway, Griffin 2. Any thoughts? Then the last one for today, and we've got a shooter. And as you know, along with my Saturn journey, I'm also embracing the shmups, and this ticks a box in both categories. We've got layer section. A few people have mentioned this to me. I certainly remember seeing it around back in the day. I can't remember if I ever played it or not. I certainly never owned it. cracking game. It's obviously in the Ray series of games. Ray Force, Ray Storm and Ray Crisis, but they've renamed them on the Saturn as Layer Section. This is Ray Force, isn't it? Yeah. And Layer Section 2 is Ray Storm, and Ray Crisis is PS1 only. It's not on the Saturn as far as I'm aware. Well, yeah, cracking game. One of the cheaper Saturn shooters, this one. Usually goes around the 50 quid mark. Again, I think I found this one a bit cheaper on eBay. But a great game. Really liking this. I mean, I still prefer Shenryu, but absolutely chuffed to have it, and I'm looking forward to playing this a bit more. I hope you can see from the footage what a classic looking title it is. And I've also got the Ray Storm on the PlayStation as well. So I'm looking for Ray Crisis next on the PlayStation. But it's Galactic Attack, obviously, on the PAL version. If you want the PAL version, it's just yet another different name. Ray Force became Layer Section, then became Galactic Attack. So there you go. Chuffed with that one. Another great shooter pick up, and hopefully there'll be more to come. But there we go. That'll do it for today. Hope you enjoyed that, and if there's any if you've got any thoughts on any of that lot, please drop it down in the comments. It'd be great to hear from you. But thanks for watching anyway, and I'll see you on the next one. Sayonara.